frames and HP. He never takes it off, and you have little camera shots here and there that show little strands of hair coming out. In the online Cartoon Network game, Double D actually throws his hat up at one point, and you can see the balding strands of hair, and then Ed and Eddie actually get to my eyes! They're burning!
If I throw the ball over the net, you have to save me. If I throw the ball...
Makes sense. My Gotti contacts said the general soldiers have been approaching. Still, I can't fathom it. The general...
It is the fruit of a poisonous seed planted by Shanks. He played to the general's vanity and inflamed his prejudices to convince him that he alone can save our world.
He may be unstoppable. The Gotti don't have numbers, and my calls must be trained for war.
And I too will aid the universe's defense.
Driver, what is it? I may need that aid right now.
Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot, he let his hands do talking. Right here, Dawn is essentially about to die to this audience. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word, bro just instantly break this entire wall, split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rod of Dark Rod. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant massive damage. Now these other deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with poison jam. Let's like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of things, but let's not speak on Cross. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Dawn is essentially about to die to this audience because of something that massive collider. These human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. Ash might have a lot of things. Let's not speak on Cross. Krogan didn't talk. Right here, just about to die to this audience. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this period. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And it's not even the most insane thing of Krogan. It was doing the Rod of Dark Rod. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like select some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk. Right here, Dawn is essentially about to die to this audience. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did. He handled business. Krogan was always not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is the move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of business, but let's not speak on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. Because it's something that massive collided as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Here are throwing hands. This is the move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of business. Let's not speak on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. Because it's something that massive collided to you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is the move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his. It basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he but let's not speak on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. Because it's something that massive collided to you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is the move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex some moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of business. But let's not speak on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. Because it's something that massive collided to you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is the move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of business. Let's not speak on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. Because it's something that massive collided to you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogunk was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogunk. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise feat. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like, but they dodged. Krogunk 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flex like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon. Let's not move on for us. Krogunk didn't talk about it. They let his hands do talking. Right here, y'all is essentially up. Krogunk didn't make a murder. Bro just instantly breaks it. How you want to split it? Got down to work. That's what he did in the series. Going to Rise of Dark Rise. Here are throwing hands. Poison jab. On cross Krogunk. Essentially about. Krogunk didn't take a the hurt instinct zone. Bro analyzed the situation. He got down to work. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogunk was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogunk. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is the annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogunk stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flex like, yo. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Krogunk. Krogunk didn't talk a lot. He let his hands talk. Right here, Don is essentially allowed to die to his audience. Because something that maximum combines as a base human, as strong as they are, is GG's. Krogunk didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogunk was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogunk. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogunk stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flipped like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not sleep on Krogunk. Krogunk didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to his audience. Because of something that massive combined as a base human, as strong as they are, is GG's. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in his series. He handled business. Krogunk was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogunk. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogunk stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flex like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Different Pokemon, so let's not speak on Krogunk. Krogunk didn't talk a lot. It let his right here, Don is essentially about to die to this audience. Because of something that massive collided to you as a base human, as strong as they are, is GG's. Krogunk didn't say a word. Bro just instantly analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this series. He handled was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Roger Dark Roger. See how good and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex some moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there, down, in the face of death, and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to his audience. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are, is GG. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Roger Dark Roger. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not sleep on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to his optics. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this series. He handled his business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Roger Dark Roger. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex some moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of Pokemon, but let's not speak on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to his audience. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break the entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Roger Dark Roger. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex some moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not sleep on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to his audience. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in this series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Roger Dark Roger. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex some moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of Pokemon, but let's not sleep on Cross Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to his audience. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rod the Dark Rod. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is the move that meant to annihilate Palkia and do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex some moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on this is talking about it. Let his hands do talk. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogan action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rod the Dark Rod movie. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is the move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Frost. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are. It's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rod the Dark Rod movie. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is the annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex some moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different. Let's not speak on Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are. It's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rod the Dark Rod movie. Dialga and Palkia are throwing that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex some moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Krogan didn't talk right here about to die to this Onyx. Because it's something that massive collides into you as a base human, as strong as they are. It's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rod the Dark Rod movie. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is the move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon. Let's not speak on Cross. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in his series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia and do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab, and then basically flex like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Cross. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this audience because of something that massive collided into you as a base human, as strong as they are. It's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word, bro. This is break. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to run. That's what he did in his series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia and do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab, and then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this audience because of something that massive collided into you as a base human, as strong as they are. It's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in his series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia and do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect. They dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab, and then basically flexed like, yo. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this audience because of something that massive collided into you as a base human, as strong as they are. It's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in his series. He handled business. Always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise movie. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia and do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab, and then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might. But let's not speak on Krogan. Krogan didn't talk a lot. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this audience because of something that matters. As a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just break this entire wall. He split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in his series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Palkia and do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flex some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 death and stopped it with his poison jab, and then basically flexed like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Krogan. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this audience because of something that massive collided into you as a base human, as strong as they are. It's GG's. Krogan didn't say word, bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was going to Rise of Dark Rider. Dialga and Vampire are throwing hands. This is the move that's meant to annihilate Vampire and do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there. Like, I'm that as my talk line, he let his hands talk. Right here, Don. Break this entire wall. Split it. Put it. Come in the same zone. Bro, analyze the situation. Got down to work. That's what he did. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rider. Dialga and Vampire are throwing in. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Vampire and do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flex like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, so let's not speak on Frost Krogan. Krogan didn't talk about it. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. Because if something that massive collides into you, as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rider. Dialga and Vampire are throwing hands. This is a move that's meant to annihilate Vampire and do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flex like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Frost Krogan. Krogan didn't talk about it. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. Because if something that massive collides into you, as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG's. Krogan didn't say a word. Bro just instantly break this entire wall. Split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rider. Dialga and Vampire are throwing hands. Meant to annihilate Vampire and do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flex like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Frost Krogan. Krogan didn't talk about it. It let his hands talk. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. Because if something that massive collides into you, as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG. Bro just instantly split it. He split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly. Down to work. That's what he did in the series. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane feat of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rider. Dialga and Vampire are throwing hands. This is the move that's meant to annihilate Vampire and do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like deflect some of the moves, but they dodged. Krogan stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And then basically flex like, yo, I'm that nigga. And he is. Ash might have a lot of different Pokemon, but let's not speak on Frost Krogan. Krogan didn't talk about it. It let his hands do talking. Right here, Don is essentially about to die to this Onyx. provide them to you as a base human, as strong as they are, it's GG. Krogan didn't say a word, bro. Just breaking the entire wall. Split it. We split it and put her in the safe zone. Bro analyzed the situation instantly and immediately got down to work. That's what he did in his hero. He handled business. Krogan was always about that action. And that's not even the most insane thing of Krogan. It was doing the Rise of Dark Rise. Dialga and Palkia are throwing hands. This is the move that's meant to annihilate Palkia or do massive damage. Now these other Pokemon were able to kind of like flexing with the moves, but they died. Krogunk stood there 10 toes down in the face of death and stopped it with his poison jab. And just basically flexed like, yo, I'm that bitch. And
that's called an intrusive thought, and we don't say those out loud.
Look at that person. She's right on the edge. Someone could just push her off.
That's called an intrusive. Say those out loud.
Look at that person. She's right on the edge. Someone.
I think it's like a
Oh, here's some water. Very sorry about
big spank. I want you to wake up. Stop.
On my
Nothing on us. Trust me. They got nothing on us. Just hold it down. I got you. I got you, bro. Hold it down. Alright, guys, good enough. Tell us something. What went down? What, nobody? Now doing this thing, if y'all don't see nothing, y'all sitting up 10 years in federal prison. Why you don't hurt, bro? Bro, put your hand on him, bro. Listen, bro, don't do this. You're not doing this, bro. Come on, bro. Bro, you're cool, bro. Like, bro, you stay in my house all the time. All the time. You stay in my house all the time. I see nothing, bro. Don't do this. Don't do something like that to me, bro. Don't do that. He shot the girl. He shot her. Wow. Thursday night, 11 on the museum. Dude. Took the guy to the house the next day. Buried in our garden, backyard. You'll find it in the back under the sunflower petals. Reach out, scoop, you'll find it. He ain't even asked for that, bro. He ain't even asked. Are you serious? Bro, are you for real, bro?
How old are you?
Yeah, man. That's pretty much everything that's happened ever since I played the dinosaur.
Love you.
Nigel. Bye. Oh, no one from it. Nah. It's all against the beach. Nah. Don't worry about it. Tell us not at all. Okay. Oh, flashing lights are back again. Nigel, look.
Yeah.
Oh, we're connected. Oh. again? Nah, don't worry about it. You sure? It's pretty good. Did you at least tell the part where you opened up an interdimensional portal on my land 30 years ago? And you and your mates have been living here ever since? Well, the portal's been on the fridge, opening and closing, spilling out all this weird shit. And I'm the one that's going to make sure these fucking weird things go back inside it and keep the public from knowing about it. Did you at least tell that part of the story? Well, that's a you story, mate. I was telling my story. Well, I'm going to bed. Just make sure you put that fire out when you leave. I will. Alright. See you, Nigel. And yeah, mate, that's pretty much everything that's happened ever since I seen a dinosaur. Nigel. Nigel, did you hear what I said? Mate? Yeah. What was the last thing you heard me say? Something about you being on a raft out in the ocean and you're trapped in a storm. You missed the whole thing, Nigel. I'm sorry, mate, I must have dozed off. I'll tell it again from there. No, mate, no. Oh, yeah, so I get to the beach and... No, please, don't worry about it, mate. Tell us another time. Okay. Oh, look, the flashing lights are back again. Nigel, look. Yep. Oh, they're connecting. Oh. Whoa! Cool. Alright, well, I'm going to bed. You sure you don't want to hear the story again? No, don't worry about it. You sure? It's pretty good. Did you at least tell the part where you opened up an interdimensional portal on my land 30 years ago? And you and your mates have been living here ever since? Well, the portal's been on the fridge, opening and closing, spilling out all this weird shit. And I'm the one that's going to make sure these fucking weird things go back inside and keep the public from knowing about it. Did you at least tell that part of the story? Well, that's a you story, mate. I was telling my story. Well, I'm going to bed. Just make sure you put that fire out when you leave. I will. Alright. See you, Nigel. And yeah, mate, that's pretty much everything that's happened ever since I seen a dinosaur. Nigel, did you hear what I said? Hey? Yeah. What was the last thing you heard me say? Something about you being on a raft out in the ocean and you're trapped in a storm. You missed the whole thing, Nigel. I'm sorry, mate, I must have dozed off. I'll tell it again from there. No, mate, no, you don't have to. Oh, yeah, so I get to the beach and... No, please don't worry about it, mate. Just tell us another time. Okay. Oh, look, the flashing lights are back again. Nigel, look. Yep. Whoa, they're connecting. Whoa. Whoa. Cool. Alright, well, I'm going to bed. You sure you don't want to hear the story again? No, don't worry about it. You sure? It's pretty good. Did you at least tell the part where you opened up an interdimensional portal on my land 30 years ago? And you and your mates have been living here ever since? Well, the portal's been on the fridge, opening and closing, spilling out all this weird shit. And I'm the one that's going to make sure these fucking weird things go back inside it and keep the public from knowing about it. Did you at least tell that part of the story? Well, that's a you story, mate. I was telling my story. Well, I'm going to bed. Just make sure you put that fire out when you leave. I will. Alright. See you, Nigel. And yeah, mate, that's pretty much everything that's happened ever since I seen a dinosaur. Nigel, did you hear what I said? Hey? Yeah. What was the the last thing you heard me say? Something about you being on a raft out in the ocean and you're trapped in a storm. You missed the whole thing, Nigel. Oh, sorry, mate, I must have dozed off. I'll tell it again from there. Nah, mate, nah, you don't have to. No, yeah, so I get to the beach and... No, please, don't worry about it, mate. Tell us another time. Okay. Oh, look, the flashing lights are back again. Nigel, look. Yep. Whoa, they're connected. Whoa. Whoa. Cool. Alright, well, I'm going to bed. You sure you don't want to hear the story again? You sure? It's pretty good. Did you at least tell the part where you opened up an interdimensional portal on my land 30 years ago? And that you and your mates have been living here ever since? While the portal's been on the fritz, opening and closing and spilling out all this shit. You know, I'm the one that's going to make sure these fucking weird things go back inside it and keep the public from knowing about it. Did you at least tell that part of the story? Well, that's a you story, mate. I'm telling my story. Oh, I'm going to bed. Just make sure you put that fire out when you leave. I will. Alright. See you, Nigel. And yeah, mate, that's pretty much everything that's happened ever since I've seen a dinosaur. Nigel. Nigel. Nigel, you hear what I said? Hey? Oh, yeah. What was the last thing you heard me say? Something about you being on a raft out in the ocean and you're trapped in a storm. You missed the whole thing, Nigel. Oh, sorry, mate, I must have dozed off. I'll tell it again from there. Nah, mate, nah, you don't have to. No, yeah, so I get to the beach and... No, please don't worry about it, mate. Just tell us another time. Okay. Oh, look, the flashing lights are back again. Nigel, look. Yep. Whoa, they're connected. Whoa. Whoa. Cool. Alright, well, I'm going to bed. You sure you don't want to hear the story again? Nah, don't worry about it. You sure? It's pretty good. Did you at least tell the part where you opened up an interdimensional portal on my land 30 years ago? And that you and your mates have been living here ever since? While the portal's been on the fritz, opening and closing and spilling out all this weird shit. You know, I'm the one that's going to make sure these fucking weird things go back inside it and keep the public from knowing about it. Did you at least tell that part of the story? Well, that's a you story, mate. I was telling my story. Well, I'm going to bed. Just make sure you put that fire out when you leave. I will. Alright. See you, Nigel. And yeah, mate, that's pretty much everything that's happened ever since I've seen a dinosaur. Nigel. Nigel, did you hear what I said? Hey? Oh, yeah. What was the last thing you heard me say? Something about you being on a raft out in the ocean and you're trapped in a storm. You missed the whole thing, Nigel. Oh, sorry, mate, I must have dozed off. I'll tell it again from there. Nah, mate, nah, you don't have to. No, yeah, so I get to the beach and... No, please don't worry about it, mate. Just tell us another time. Okay. Oh, look, the flashing lights are back again. Nigel, look. Yep. Whoa, they're connected. Whoa. Whoa. Cool. Alright, well, I'm going to bed. You sure? Again. Nah, don't worry about it. You sure? It's pretty good. Did you at least tell the part where you opened up an interdimensional portal on my land 30 years ago? And you and your mates have been living here ever since? Well, the portal's been on the fritz, opening and closing and spilling out all this weird shit. And I'm the one that's going to make sure these fucking weird things go back inside it and keep the public from knowing about it. Did you at least tell that part of the story?
Well, that's a you story, mate. I was telling my story. So,
just make sure you put that fire out when you leave.
I will.
Alright. See you, Nigel.
See you, Type.